Hey everybody, this is Brian, and this is a solo episode. All Josh told me was record something about work ethic. I said, okay, that's all I have to go on. So he's got a few other things. He'll probably edit this together. It'll be real slick and snazzy like he normally does. If he's going to put in music, it'll probably be right around here. And I hope soon I'll spend the time. We just moved, so there's a lot of things in boxes right now, which I'll talk about in just a minute. However, I will get better at doing some mix minus kind of things very soon. So for those of you who are just joining us, welcome to Curiosity Continuum. We're an industry innovating non-traditional company passionate about growing wisdom in the next generation. And this is the podcast for it. And we're the essential bridge between the analog and digital worlds by building collaborative communities that unleash the power of adaptive expertise and innovation needed to thrive in the 21st century. There's a little bit more of rhythm and roll, but you need to know curiositycontinuum.com. You can find us there. Okay. These solo episodes are designed to be able to, again, have me share a thought, Josh share a thought, and you hear the different perspectives individually now, and then you hear us when we come together on like the normal podcast. Work ethic. Now, at the time of this recording, I am looking at my wall, which is a new wall for me, which is kind of by the door to the back, and I have most things in boxes because we just moved. Now, let me tell you one thing, folks. Anybody who moves knows the heartache and pain that can come along with moving, and I have mad respect for the people who actually move boxes for a living, like the actual moving. I went to this Goodwill that's close to my house to help purge and donate some things. There was a guy there, and we got in a little conversation as I'm taking out a filing cabinet and clothing and a few other things, and he had helped people move for 14 years. He said he feels it every day of his life now, which mad respect for that guy getting something done. And he was talking to me then about his daughter, who is a younger age. I think she's about 6, and he had just enrolled her into Krav Maga. He said it's really important for him to have his daughter understand how to protect herself in this world. And I definitely agree with that. I'm glad to see that his little girl saw dad go to work. Now, I don't know the guy's full story. I don't know all the things that go along with it. But if somebody's going to show up and really do hard work like that, the work ethic really is a combination not only of the mindset to want to do it, but then the execution, the physical execution to be able to do it. And that's really where the ethic component of it is a principle. It's not a decision that you have to make again and again because you've already established that. And then it makes the decision easy, even when it's very difficult. Every job has things that you don't like about it. In fact, you could probably say, what are 5 things you dislike about your job? And everybody could find something, even people who love their jobs, because there's always something that's not like the fun part of the job. You know, a lot of musicians who tour, they talk about it's not the what you're getting paid to. You're not getting paid to play music or paid to play music. What are you getting paid to do? Be a good hang on the tour bus. You know, be somebody that's cooperative and gets along, who gets the job done professionally, who's focused during rehearsal, who is a good team player in terms of working with the front of house people. That ethic is what gets people hired, even if they're not the best player. There's a lot of great musicians who will never be hired because they don't have the skills to be able to actually manage the people. So it's not only working hard, but it's working right. That means that there's a relational component to what you do. That means that you're going to show up and do your thing, but also, depending on the type of work you do, you're going to help others do their thing. Work ethic, I think, takes on a different kind of tone for the different kind of work you do, but at some way, shape, or form, whatever you do, you have to show up mentally first. You have to make the decision, and then you physically have to put the nose to the grindstone to do it. Now, as you go along, you might say, I enjoy doing this part of my job better, or I'm not really great at that. You know, part of the becoming a professional or doing something in your career or otherwise, you kind of learn what you're not, and so you know how to best apply yourself. That doesn't mean that you don't have good work ethic on things that you don't enjoy doing. What it actually means is that you've identified those things and how you can best apply that ethic. Again, it is a principle type of exercise where you've said, this is what I do. And this is the consistency and the discipline to be able to show up and do it again and again. I want to talk about my son for a little bit. He joined the work world. He's still in high school. So everybody who's worked in high school had a job prior to being graduated from high school, you kind of know what that flow is like. If you hear some noise in the background, that's my wife talking in the background. My sister-in-law is about to come through the front door. And if you're seeing all the boxes around here, you notice that I'm in the middle of life. We have a dog that is now walking around that was staying at my mom's. And I've decided that I'm still going to fit this in and get it done. I'm going to find the space to do it. And I'm going to, even when it's not perfect, even when I may have to pivot and Josh may hear all the background noise and stuff, I hope he leaves it in because I'm dedicated to the work to be able to do what I said I would do for my friend, to say, here's the deadline that I promised to hit. That's work ethic, showing up. So going back to my son, he got a job over the summer. He was a barber's shop assistant. That meant he was sweeping hair, checking people out. He heard a lot of funny stories, and he got a good start in the work world by somebody who offered him a job and also taught him a really good work ethic about, keeping everything spiffy in the shop. He has then now gone on to go to a big box retailer for now and being a cashier for it. So there's actual physical operational things that have to happen in a store like that. And he loves talking with the people. He loves checking them out. He loves learning all those different kinds of things. It suits him very well for where he is in his life. The way he actually got that job, this company has a lot of online processes where you apply, and then there's emails, and there's probably phone calls if they're interested, and, the whole thing that happens along with that hiring process. He showed up at the store after he had applied online, and the person at the customer service desk said, you're supposed to do this over the phone. He goes, well, I know that. He said, and I tried that. And I said, I couldn't get a hold of anybody. So I just decided to show up. Now, I guarantee you that spoke to his now team leader at that particular job, because here's a young man that decided to take the initiative to show up. That, to me, I'm proud as a dad. I'm proud of that because I've kind of hit those things home again and again. But you never know how those things take. It was really, really nice to see that was something that he led with on his own, because he's realizing that the realities of the world mean that he's got to show up. He's got to do that. And that kind of speaks to the way that you will show up even when it's not convenient or it wasn't perfectly served to you. You're going to get there, you're going to figure it out, and you're going to apply yourself consistently over time. I think about my grandparents, and Josh and I talk about our grandparents often, who grew up in the Great Depression, through the Great Depression, lived through wars, and they figured it out. They figured out how to, wash plastic bags at the sink. They figured out how to do different kinds of things when it needed to. Take in sewing when they needed to sew to create extra money. Or, make, food dishes that, why would you put that together? It's like, well, because that's what we had to do. The ethic behind it, again, speaks to that set of guiding principles. And so I hope that anybody listening to this podcast is going to really take home, in fact, like say, what are the things that I do in my work life? Or just at work, not even just work life, but work in general. How do I approach my work? Do I see it as a dignified activity? I hope you do, because work is dignified. As human beings, we take great joy and value for seeing our time, resources, effort, talents applied to something and seeing the fruits of our labor. And especially in seasons of drought, it's really important to have that guiding principle again and again. My wife's grandparents, to leave you with this thought, longtime farmers in southern Illinois. They recently have both passed away in the last few years. And they showed up again and again, not only for their family, but for their life. When a drought would take the entire crop, they would say, well, we'll try again next year. And these are people that very quietly built their life, and they left a legacy for their children when they passed away. Nobody would have identified them as somebody who, changed 27,000 quintillion lives across the ocean, but they made a large impact right where they were, putting their best foot forward every day with their work ethic. Did they hit it perfectly every day? Of course not. But they did it over time, and they showed up. So my encouragement to you is to find those people who have inspired you to say, man, I love how those people work. They have a good attitude. They're consistent. And consistent is not the enemy of imaginative. But think about that for a minute. Hope this helps give a little bit of thoughts about work ethic. I'm going to try to finish this episode right now before there's a lot of noise coming through that front door. And I have not built any kind of shelter for myself on this recording. Until next time, this is Brian for Curiosity Continuum.